721 adorable creatures and counting, all available, some more than others, to enslave in red and white capsules, befriend, train, and pit against one another till they die or faint. If you're still wondering, we're talking Pokemon, a little-known franchise worth over $45 billion that has been entertaining audiences since 1996.
Now that our horror theme has concluded, feel free to watch our Scream series review and top 10 horror movies from the past decade if you haven't already. We will be dedicating the next few videos to the series that encourage us to catch them all. And with Pokemon Sun and Moon right around the corner, what better theme than this ever-evolving series?
Today, Pokemon is not just a manga or anime series. The franchise spans a trading card game, video games, and apps, stuffed animals, and clothing, including Pikachu briefs, if you're that big of a fan. But in this episode, we're focusing on the games, in particular the spin-offs of the core game series for the handheld systems.
With Pokemon's 20th anniversary celebration coming to a close in the next few months, Keith and I will be reviewing our top 6 spin-off Pokemon games. Any of the Pokemon-related games that are not in the main series that started with Pokemon Red and Blue for Game Boy, or Red and Green if you live in Japan, are up for discussion.
For this list, we'll be telling you guys some of our favorite things for each game and how they differ from the main series. We will also relay some aspects of the games that we weren't too happy about, and some things that we wish could have been improved.
And now, let's get that Voltorb rolling with our number 1 spin-off, Pokemon Master Trainer, the board game that, when released in 1999, made you want to roll a die more than once to catch a Pokemon Pog while you were a color-coded Ash spawn traveling the Kanto region.
Yeah, the game was remade in 2001, and it included Generation 2 in that release. It added 3 Johto starters and had some minor changes to the gameplay and how the Pokemon Pogs worked.
It was also updated again in 2005 with the addition of Generation 3, but it couldn't capture the essence of that original game. And I still have the original game, and I loved playing it. I know that there was a lot of cheating occurring during the time that my siblings and I were playing it with like cousins and other family members. So that that was not matched by those sequels to the game.
Yeah, and I hear that the games are pretty valuable now. How much do they go for?
I mean, if it depends where you look. I mean, eBay is selling them. People on eBay are selling them upwards of $200, maybe even more. I saw one on Amazon new for $370. So if you have that money and if you want to spend that money to catch those Pokemon, go ahead and buy it on Amazon or eBay. I'm glad that I haven't thrown mine away. Mine's in almost perfect condition. So
yeah, mine is good too. I think I'm just missing the pink ash, but
yeah, maybe if I need a couple bucks in the future, I'll sell it for those $370.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. Our number 2 pick is Super Smash Bros., where the Nintendo world is pitted up against one another in an attempt to be named the victor. Originally released in 1999, this game had several Pokemon available, from Pikachu to Jigglypuff, which you could unlock later. And it had other Pokemon sprinkled around, available through special items like the Pokeballs.
Yeah, and it also had the original Smash Brothers had the Saffron City stage as the Pokemon exclusive stage, and it was the sequel to the Smash Brothers was Smash Brothers Melee for GameCube in 2001. And again, it brought back Pikachu, who's everyone's favorite Pokemon. I love Pikachu. I have Pikachu sitting right there looking at us right now. Again, Jigglypuff wasn't unlockable, and it added Pichu and Mewtwo to the mix.
Which is kind of weird, because Pichu is the only character that I could think of that actually hurts itself more than it hurts other people.
Yeah, they did it in the series. And it also added new Pokemon to the Pokeball item, or Pokemon that could come out of the Pokeball item, including Articuno, Ho-Oh, Lugia, Chikorita, who's my favorite grass starter.
And then we got Brawl in 2008. It also included new Pokemon. You could play as Lucario now instead of Mewtwo. And then they added the Pokemon Trainer, who's like the stand-in for Ash or Red from the original games. And you can get several different Pokemon cameos, either from the stadiums itself, or more from the Pokeball items usage.
Yes, so in this version you have the Spear Pillar and the Pokemon Stadium. You also get more Pokemon, including Kyogre, Groudon, Manaphy, and the Spear Pillar Stadium had exclusive Pokemon to it that you could only see in that stage. So that was actually pretty cool, I think.
I don't remember. I usually just played in that final stage. I don't know what it's called, the flat stage.
Oh. Yeah. I think Spear Pillar was my favorite stage in that game, and I mean Pikachu. I love picking Pikachu and just spawning the thunder.
And then the last entry in the Smash series thus far is Smash 4, or Super Smash Brothers for the 3DS/Wii U. This one's cross-compatible, which is interesting. It adds Greninja to the mix. Now it's Charizard instead of the Pokemon trainer. And you get Mewtwo and Lucario, which is nice because they play a little differently, you know?
Yeah. And Jigglypuff too, so we can't forget we can't forget Jigglypuff. She's been there the whole way. And it also adds Mega Evolutions as final smashes, and Genesect, Meloetta, Spupa, and Xerneas are Pokeball exclusive Pokemon. Yeah, I think for this one it was just about adding a lot more Pokemon, and I think that's cool. I kind of missed Pokemon Trainer because he was, just the capability of having different moves for every different Pokemon.
Yeah,
I thought was cool, but I don't mind Charizard. I like Charizard.
Yeah, I think that's probably why they went that route, is just because Charizard is a little more accessible than like Bulbasaur. I think what was the other one? Wartortle?
I think it was Squirtle. Ivysaur.
Oh, I got it mixed up.
So, yeah.
I mean, I don't miss Pichu, however, because I thought that was the weirdest thing. I've never.
Yeah.
But
I don't think I ever played with Pichu actually. I mean,
you only do it if you hate yourself, I think.
And if you don't want to pick Pikachu, but
yeah,
I would just go with Pikachu or even Jigglypuff. I think using Jigglypuff is funny. I just roll off the stage and just explode. At number 3, we have Pokemon TCG, or the Pokemon trading card game. Remember when everyone wanted that super rare, strong Charizard holographic card, but no one really knew how to use it? This is the game it belongs to. And today, that 120 HP, 100 attack point fire spin Charizard is being sold anywhere from $50 to $5,000 on eBay. So if you were lucky enough to get one of those, you can sell it for a profit. I wouldn't sell mine, but I mean, I don't really have one, so why am I?
I had one. It was stolen, but I had one.
Dang it!
Yeah,
you could have been $5,000 richer if you just prevented that.
Yeah, this game was released in Japan starting in 1995, and then it came to US in 1996.
Yeah, and it's constantly evolving, just like Pokemon. This game is constantly evolving and introducing new game mechanics. There have been 15 billion cards produced worldwide.
I hear that some people don't even use these older cards anymore because they don't function the same, or sometimes they'll have tournaments where they'll say you can't use this generation because it doesn't really work with all the new aspects of the games. Which is interesting because they re-released the first generation.
Yeah, and I think every generation has different rules. So every generation is also accompanied by a new generation of trading cards. In the official trading card competition, they set these rules that say you can only use cards from these booster packs or from these released expansion decks or whatever.
One of the best aspects about the TCG is that not only is it fun to play. I mean, I learned how to play it. It's actually pretty fun. It's no Yu-Gi-Oh, but it's definitely up there.
No, it's not. It's not Yu-Gi-Oh. But I think Yu-Gi-Oh to me was easier to grasp. Well, because of the show, and it was more straightforward. But I think that the most fun aspect of this is just collecting the cards.
Yeah. And there's so much beautiful art, and then you could even become like a hardcore collector and look for the ones with the typos or the ones with the weird things. Yeah. I remember people wanting Pikachu where he's doing Thunderbolt, but then his cheeks are still red instead of yellow. Yeah. Like all kinds of weird things that people wanted. That really did help Pokemon grow like an interest, especially in its early days.
And I also remember just the price. I think back then the price was a little bit higher. They kind of lowered it a little bit, or maybe just because I have a job now, so I can afford a booster pack. But they've just had so many expansions and booster packs, and I like that all the Pokemon are represented in one way or another. And just that there was a rule instated at some point where if one of your Pokemon beats a legendary, you get that 2-card reward instead of just the 1. Huh. So I thought that was a pretty good kind of balancing technique. Yeah, and Generation 1 had the Fossil booster pack, the Team Rocket series, the Jungle series, and then Generation 2, Neo series, the E-Card series, which was compatible with the video game.
Huh.
The little...
The one that no one really played.
Yeah, I never had it, so I didn't use it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the EX series, Diamond and Pearl series, Black and White series. So a lot of cards to collect. Personally, I still collect them, but I only buy Magikarp Pokemon cards. It's kind of weird.
Favorite Pokemon. Yeah, I used to have a Ninetales card, like a first edition, that was stolen by somebody, unfortunately, whoever that was. But yeah, the Pokemon trading card game is a pretty big. I would say almost as big as the video game. I mean, they have tournaments dedicated to just the trading card game, just as they have with the video game. But I like both of them. I don't really do the competitive trading card thing. I do just collect them, and I have like folders and folders of them. But yeah.
So in at number 4, Pokemon Stadium. The first video game where you could upload your Generation 1 Pokemon to your N64 and have them battle one another in completely new and 3D arenas.
Yep. Released in 2000, and technically a sequel to the 1999 Japanese-only release that was mostly incomplete. There is no set storyline, really. There's like a transfer pack, which was, it allowed you to transfer your Pokemon to the screen on your television and just, go at it with your friends. There was also something called a free battle where you could rent Pokemon and battle friends. So I think they were all set at a certain level, and then, you could basically pick whatever Pokemon you wanted.
There's other modes to the game. The battle to win trophies. You do the gym leader castle, which is fighting the Kanto gym leaders, and there's also all the various mini games. Probably my favorite part of the game.
The mini games.
Yeah.
This game received mixed reviews from critics, mostly because there was no set storyline. But regardless of that, it sold 1 million copies, and it got a sequel with Pokemon Stadium 2, which I would say we'll add to this to this ranking, because they're kind of
they go hand in hand.
Yeah, it's kind of just a loophole that we found to include more things. But yeah, Pokemon Stadium 2, it added the Generation 2 Pokemon and the compatibility for the Generation 2 game cartridges.
Yeah, and that's really huge. The biggest aspect to the Stadium series was probably the ability to play the Game Boy games on your N64. And it allowed for this mode, I believe it was called Dodrio mode, which made it run a lot faster. So you did not have to deal with the super slow...
The walking.
Yeah.
I remember I begged my parents to get me that, and they were like, no. So I was like, but I still was able to go to like my cousin's house and play it over there. So, I didn't have to purchase it, but
yeah,
I had someone to mooch off of it, basically.
Yeah, then there was also a couple of GameCube releases. There's Colosseum, DX Gale of Darkness, which I thought was a really odd entry.
Yeah.
Just Pokemon in general. It had these like evil Pokemon. It had
that you had to like cleanse or something like that.
You had to purify their spirits. It was really weird.
Yeah.
And then Battle Revolution for the Wii, I believe. And
yes,
that game solid in its own right, but didn't really live up to the I guess the hype of its predecessors.
Yeah. I think for me, Battle Revolution, basically the biggest thing was just seeing all the new Pokemon on the screen and being able to battle using my DS and seeing what's going on television.
Yeah, definitely.
And our number 5 spinoff is Pokemon Go, which is the game that kind of swept the nation and destroyed all the other apps for a little while. It was recently released a few months ago in July.
Yeah.
Wow. So a few months old. It already made billions and billions of dollars, and
I believe it makes $3 million a day.
$3 million a day. Dang. I mean, if I could get that money just to play the game, but I think, this has a lot of positive things, or I liked a lot of things about this game, but I also disliked a lot of things about it.
Yeah.
My favorite thing was just to being able to use the VR and seeing the little Pokemon on your phone in real life.
Yeah. Just the idea of being able to go out and catch Pokemon, it gave it some kind of semblance to what you really wanted when you played Pokemon. I think that's probably its strongest point. But then it has a lot of the negative points that just really take away from it, like the lack of story. Some of the aspects that really hinder it is the ability to really have cooperative play. You don't really interact with anybody besides the gyms, really.
Yeah.
And even then, it's kind of like you're not really talking to anybody. You're just kind of on your own. You tear down a gym, then put your Pokemon there for a second, gets torn down. And then...
Yeah, especially in the more heavily populated areas. I mean, there were times where you would battle a gym putting your Pokemon, or somebody would beat you to it, and you'd be like, man, I have to take it down all over again. But I do have to give it credit because it did get me out and exercising at least for a little while. I mean, I would go down to the beach. I mean, we live in LA, so it's it's very easy to go down somewhere and just find Pokemon wherever, basically.
Yeah.
The downside, though, I would say, is just the crowds. Like there's some areas where, yes, I agree. Like, just go camp for a little bit, but I mean, if you just camp there for like 3 weeks straight trying to catch that Lapras or that Snorlax, please go home and shower. Which is something that we noticed, in the downtown area where we live.
Yeah.
It just, I know but I mean, that's not necessarily the game's fault. It's more like the people playing it. I mean, I guess,
No, yeah. And then since the game comes from, like a previous game, there's some weird, nuances that are kind of just, they take away from the experience. Because let's say if you live in LA or you live in New York, when we were in New York, when we played Pokemon Go, it's quite easy to catch Pokemon. Yeah. But on my trip to, the Grand Canyon and heavily
densely
very minimally populated areas where it's sparse and there's not really that many landmarks, you find no Pokestops and you find almost no Pokemon,
which was a complaint that a lot of people were having. And
yeah,
some people were already completing their Pokedex. That guy that completed his Pokedex in New York, and then there was people who only caught like 3 or 4 of the different kinds of Pokemon that there are. So that was kind of not for us because we were lucky enough to live somewhere where there's a lot of them, but I would have been upset if I could only catch Sandshrew. I mean, I get upset if I catch I find Sandshrew everywhere basically, but that could have been a little bit more fleshed out, I think.
The one thing to consider is that this game, unlike the other games in the Pokemon series, has the advantage of being an app. That means that it's constantly being evolved. So we're seeing lots of new introductions to the gameplay that really do improve and provide more gameplay and more like reason to play than it did when on its first release. We have like daily bonuses now. There's already stuff in the files about introducing 100 and so more Pokemon.
The Generation 2.
Yeah. And so then this is already like a hint at things that come. We had our first event on Halloween where you can catch more ghost Pokemon and poison Pokemon. So many Ekans. So many Ekans.
Ekans, oh man. Yeah, and that sort of got me back into playing a little bit more because I had stopped playing after a while. I think it just got redundant and just like you said, there were no new things for a while to do. And the thing, I mean, to me, what was more irritating was just the fact that at the beginning I was trying to log on and I just
you couldn't.
I couldn't. But eventually, those issues were solved. And while the game still crashes sometimes, I think that there's definitely been an improvement in the app and how it works. But yes, I'm glad that Generation 2 is coming, and it couldn't get here any sooner because I want, I just want to catch into some of those new Pokemon.
Yeah.
I think I only need like 2 Pokemon to complete my Pokedex, but because I haven't played regularly, it's just been difficult to find them, especially Bulbasaur.
Yeah, I don't know why he's the rarest.
Yeah. Anyway.
So, finally, our number 6 is Pokken Tournament. There are many fighting games in the Pokemon franchise. We could have went with literally any entry. We kind of covered Pokemon Stadium and Colosseum, but we opted for this unusual game. From the makers of the popular Tekken series, we get an offering that provides us with a unique Pokemon roster and a fighting game that's very much like Tekken.
And that roster might be the main detractor for some, seeing a minimal amount of playable Pokemon, and the selection is pretty unusual.
Yeah, who wanted to play as Chandelure? I mean, besides
it's a refreshing take on the battle formula, and in some ways differing from traditions in the Pokemon and Tekken franchises, like the assist Pokemon function. This game is something unusual, but fun nonetheless.
I found myself playing as Gengar a lot because he's always been like the coolest guy to me. And then I used that Firefox. I'm not a good Pokemon fan. His final form. Wow.
Brixton, isn't it Brixton?
Yeah, Brixton or Brixican. But it's a fun game.
Yeah, I like Brixton.
Yeah, you can play as Pikachu. You can play as the Lucha Pikachu.
Yes.
And it's really unusual, but then due to its like pretty successful run, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a Pokken Tournament too.
Pokken Tournament. I wouldn't mind. I really enjoyed this game. When I first started playing it, it was kind of difficult, kind of just to get into the mechanics of things. But
yeah,
I think it was mostly because I was looking at it as a Pokemon game. Once you start looking at it as a fighting game, like Tekken, it becomes easier, kind of just to do the moves and to actually fight. Because it stopped me from getting into the game as quickly as it could have been if I just said, oh, this is a fighting game. But I thought, to me, it was a Pokemon game. So I just assumed that it was going to be the whole formula of one attack per turn or whatever. But I did like the gameplay, and I wouldn't mind Pokken Tournament too.
I think probably the only really weird thing to me is that it's not competitive enough to be like a serious fighting game. So all the people who play like the Street Fighters and the Blast Blue, they're not going to really play
Soul
this game.
Calibur.
Or, yeah. But then it also is a little jarring for the traditional Pokemon player. If you're used to all the main series, when you play this game, it'll be just a little weird to get into. And even the art style is a little weird for the trainers, but
yeah,
give it a shot. It's on the Wii U.
Pokken Tournament. And that's it for this list of top 6 spin-off games. Have you played any of these? If so, comment down below and let us know what you liked about them.
Or if you had any other favorites. I mean, tell us which ones they are.
There's countless of them. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at TheRant20, Facebook at Rant Entertainment, and click on that subscribe button to stay up to date on all our videos.
Thank you for watching The Rant Entertainment. Make sure to tune in next time.